there are a lot of cases of strange disappearances out there, and this next case is definitely one of them, and I've been wanting to cover this for a long time now. One day back in 2014, a man named Kenny Veach told his family that he was going on a short overnight trip in the Sheep Mountains in Nevada, and he was never seen or heard from again. And what makes his disappearance so strange is 1 month earlier he told his friends and the YouTube community that he discovered a mysterious cave in the Mojave Desert, and he believed that this cave possessed supernatural properties. Kenny stated, "I'm a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to this cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and I hightailed it out of there. It was one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me." Now this comment got a lot of people's attention, and Kenny said that he would return to this cave with a camera and record it for us. And he did upload a video to YouTube, but after a full day of searching the desert, he couldn't find the cave. He was very confused by this as he thought he knew exactly where the cave was, but he just couldn't find it. And a couple of weeks later, he went back in hopes of finding this cave, and then he just vanished right into thin air. He was never seen or heard from again. And after his disappearance, this case blew up, and about a week later a search party did find his cell phone next to an old mine shaft. But there was no sign of Kenny anywhere. Now some believe that Kenny was depressed and that maybe he killed himself. But most don't buy that theory, as in his videos he does seem to be quite happy and determined to find the M cave. Some believe he died by a wild animal or by one of the million ways a desert could kill you. But most believe that he was killed by someone who wanted to keep the M cave hidden from the world. On his hike to find the M cave, there was a mysterious black ram that appeared to be following him. And why were the search and rescue units only able to find his cell phone and not his body or anything else that belonged to him in that mine shaft? It just doesn't add up. So many have speculated that maybe someone had killed him and then planted his cell phone at the entrance to this mine shaft that was obviously not the M cave. Maybe they did it to throw off his followers or to scare them off completely. Now it's been almost 5 years after Kenny's disappearance and nothing has changed. Hundreds if not thousands of people have searched the desert looking for Kenny and the mysterious M cave, but they always come back empty-handed. And I believe if this conspiracy is true, then you would no longer be able to see the M cave with the naked eye, as they, whoever they are, would most likely have covered it up. Or maybe the M cave is something else entirely. While I was working on this video, I got a comment from one of my subscribers, Damien. And he asked me to cover a few things, but one of them really stood out to me and it got me thinking. This could be connected to the M cave. One day Art Bell the legend had a caller, and this caller seemed like he was scared for his life, and he told Art that he worked at Area 51, and that Area 51 and other military installations were being taken over by extra-dimensional beings. And while he was explaining this to Art, the whole show got shut down. And many believe that our government shut down the show to silence this caller. And the caller who got cut off was never heard from again, just like Kenny.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting...
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or
I don't know.
it has to be something, though.
Well, did you hear? Now, you tell me because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off?
Yeah, real weirded out.
Like going sort of sounding paranoid,
Yeah.
schizophrenic.
Like crying and everything.
Yeah.
Now, Kenny said that he found this cave close to Nellis Air Force Base. And Nellis Air Force Base isn't really that far away from Area 51. And the caller did say that these extra-dimensional beings have infiltrated other military installations. And I would assume that one of these other military installations would be Nellis Air Force Base, because it's right next to Area 51. And maybe this cave that Kenny found was no cave at all, but a portal created by these extra-dimensional beings. And this is the reason nobody can find this cave, is because it's no longer there. When Kenny went back to the desert to show us this cave, he was shocked that he couldn't find it. He thought he knew exactly where it was, but it was nowhere to be seen. To him, it was like it just disappeared. And thinking back on how Kenny described the vibrations that he felt as he got closer to this cave, well, maybe what he felt was energy pulsing from another dimension. Now, I know that this is going pretty far down the rabbit hole, but I was watching Bob Lazar the other day, and he stated that where he worked at in Area 51, there were 9 flying saucers of extraterrestrial origin. Now, I don't think that Bob is a liar. He came forward many years ago, and he wishes he never did because his life has been a living hell ever since. But if Bob is telling the truth, where the heck did our military get 9 flying saucers from? To me, it's pretty obvious that they must have been given to us by intelligent beings that were not from Earth.
A local scientist who says he worked at Groom Lake and saw the saucers joins us in tonight's interview. He has asked that his identity be shielded. Sir, how do we know you are who you say you are and that you actually have knowledge about what's going on at Groom Lake?
Well, I guess there's no way you could really know. There's really no way I could prove it without revealing my identity and getting myself into more trouble than I have already.
Exactly what's going on up there?
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs, that are out there of extraterrestrial origin, and they're being test flown and basically just analyzed.
You say there's 9 saucers. How are those tests going?
As far as what?
As far as whether they're successful and that sort of thing.
Oh, well, some of them are 100% intact and operate perfectly. The other ones are being taken apart. I was involved mainly in propulsion and the power source.
Where did we get these saucers? How did they come into the hands of the government?
I haven't the slightest idea, and you have to understand the information is very compartmentalized, and I was only allowed information that pertained particularly to what I was involved in.
But I mean, couldn't our government have made them as opposed to getting them from some alien beings?
Totally impossible. The propulsion system is a gravity propulsion system. The power source is an antimatter reactor. This technology does not exist at all. In fact, one of the reasons that I'm going forward with this information, it's not only a crime against the American people, it's a crime against the scientific community, which I've been part of for some time, or actively trying to duplicate these systems, yet they are in existence now and basically in the hands of the government.
Now I hope that one day we get to the bottom of all this. We, the human race, deserve to know the truth. And I also hope that we finally find out what really happened to Kenny. His family deserves closure. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.